Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namassami. So I understand that you have been meditating together for a few days. I would like to offer my anumodana. I rejoice in your practice, in your sincere interest in practicing buddha-dhamma. Myself, I am 24 pansas as a bhikkhu. I was a novice, samanera also, for 1.5 years. So at Wat Pah Nanachat in Ubon Ratchathani, they have a system where the one who wants to be a bhikkhu should be an anagarika or khao for 3 months to 6 months. And then we should be a samanera for 1 year. For myself, I was a samanera for 1.5 years. At that time, I was 23 years old. I was wondering whether I can be a good monk. So I have some doubts. So I took 2 years to prepare for bhikkhu ordination, upasambod. That's 24 years ago now. So I will talk a little bit about my experience and then a little bit about meditation practice. When I was a khao, the life at Wat Pah Nanachat is very strict and quite difficult. So that's 1 meal a day, keeping the dhutanga practice at that monastery, eating 1 time, eating in the bowl. So at Wat Nanachat, we are waking up at 3 a.m. and sleeping on the floor also, just a thin mat. Morning chanting, half an hour. Morning sitting, 1 hour. Then we have the alms round, bindabat. In those days, the road is a dirt road with stones. But walking about 4 or 5 kilometers, no shoes on the stones, no food in the stomach, didn't eat since 23 hours before. It's quite difficult. Coming from Australia, where I was born, life was quite comfortable. And then coming to that life was a bit austere. So actually about 6 days in every week, I want to leave. I don't want to stay. But 1 day a week, I have more peacefulness, more well-being, more contentment than I used to have. And then I have an understanding that if I go back to my life in Sydney, that 1 day of contentment, peacefulness, well-being, I won't have it. And so I have to practice a lot of patience. So that keeping the 8 precepts strictly and chanting and meditating every day, 3 or 4 times a day. So what was that peacefulness, what was that contentment, and what did it come from? So it came from sila. When you keep the precepts strictly, then you don't feel bad about anything. Nothing to feel bad about. You didn't make any bad karma. You didn't hurt anybody's feelings, didn't practice any harsh speech, unskillful action. So I think that 1 day a week is getting the benefit, the wholesome vipaka karma of practicing sila and also dana. When we practice sila, it's a higher practice of dana. They call it the apaya dana, the giving of fearlessness. So that 1 day a week, a feeling of contentment, fullness, well-being, then what is the suffering on the other 6 days? Actually, this is also vipaka kamma, because we all have kilesa, we all have greed, we all have hatred, we all have delusion in our minds based on a foundation of ignorance. Then when we come to practice keeping precepts strictly, the power of the kilesa swells up in the mind. This is because of past actions. When you're 22, you're 23, you want to eat nice food. When you want to eat food, you want to have sex. This is normal for a young man, 22, 23. But you cannot do it. So what happens is the power of craving, filling up the heart, wants to be expressed. The kilesa wants to find a way out through speech, through action, and you can't do it. So nobody says that the Buddhist training is easy. Patiently enduring with kilesa can be difficult. It depends, of course, how many lifetimes a person has practiced. So if we've been keeping strict precepts for many lives, then we won't experience a lot of difficulty. But if we are just beginning to start to keep precepts strictly, but we have many previous lives where we didn't keep our ethical precepts, our sila strictly, then the kilesa will still be quite powerful. And so in the Awada Patimokkha, Lord Buddha says, patient endurance is the supreme incinerator of defilement. This is a very important thing to understand, because sometimes we come to practice, and when we have suffering, we might think we're doing something wrong. Maybe I don't have the right method. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I don't have the right teacher. Maybe I'm not in the right place. All of the various doubts that we can have, doubts also being one of the 5 hindrances. We have to see doubt as doubt. And we have to understand that the suffering of the kilesa filling up in the mind is the result of things we did in the past, sometimes many lives before. And Lord Buddha is telling us in this Awada Patimokkha that patiently enduring them is incinerating defilements. How does that feel? How is that experienced? So that phrase, incinerating defilements, means burning up the defilements. But for the meditator who is sitting and meditating, sometimes it feels that the defilements are burning you. Your body and mind feels like it's on fire. But if you patiently endure, so what happened in my experience was after a couple of years, it was 2 or 3 days a week where I was feeling consistent contentment, well-being, coolness, and only want to disrobe maybe 4 days a week when I was 25 and 26. But I could see the development. I could see a growth in peace and well-being. And I could see a little bit of development of samadhi. So when we begin to practice, you're probably familiar with the phrases kanika samadhi, upajara samadhi. So one of the most important things in meditation practice, I believe, is consistency. So some people think it's the method, you need to get the right method. My main teacher, Tan Ajahn Anan, who lives in Wat Marp Jan in Rayong, he was the secretary of Luang Por Chah. He was quite close to Luang Por Chah as a young monk. And he used to explain to people, it's not so much the method that's important. The method serves to help us in developing and sustaining mindfulness. The important thing is the mindfulness and the quality of the mindfulness, and then in being consistent with that mindfulness. So in the forest monasteries, we have to do a morning meditation. And then we might do sweeping the floor, mopping the floor of the sala, the meditation hall. And then we have the arms round. So in training in being mindful of the breathing in the morning, then you set the intention to be mindful while you're working. So you're mindful of the footsteps while you're mopping the floor. You're mindful while you're sweeping, maintaining the mindfulness in each posture. And then mindful while walking on arms round. And then oftentimes coming back after arms round and meditating one more time. For myself, that is often the most peaceful meditation of the day. Because you already meditated in the morning and you already did arms around mindfully. You've been generating good mindfulness since early in the morning for a few hours. And also because you haven't eaten. There's something about having a light body, the mind, the body feels light, the mind feels light. So then after eating, it tends to be the case that the mindfulness gets more dull. And in the forest tradition, the monks are encouraged to do some walking meditation after eating, because we have to try to maintain this mindfulness consistently in all postures all throughout the day. And because we get up at 3 in the morning and go to bed about 9 or 10, many monks will have a rest at midday. But then in the afternoon, come out, sweep leaves, meditate again. And in the evening, meditate again. And oftentimes before sleeping, meditating again. So in the traditional forest monastery lifestyle, probably meditating 5 times a day, many monks. And so my teacher was saying it's not the method so much as using the method to generate clear mindful awareness, and then maintaining that, applying that mindful awareness throughout the postures throughout the day. And of course you need to have clear comprehension, wise reflection, Sati sampajanya. So there are many meditation methods, and many people have doubts about meditation methods. So there's a few examples from Lord Buddha's life and from suttas that I like to mention. The first one is, after Lord Buddha was enlightened in Bodh Gaya, under the Bodhi tree, he spent 7 weeks. Each week he would have 1 week experiencing the bliss of liberation, nibanna. Then he would come out of his meditation and he would do a contemplation. He had some contemplations. He was himself amazed that he realized nibanna. And he understood that it was a subtle and difficult thing to realize. And he asked himself, how is it that I could realize this wonderful, profound, amazing liberation of mind, difficult to penetrate? And he had the insight, the 5 spiritual powers lead to the deathless and merge in the deathless. Deathless is another word for nibbana, the unconditioned, asankata, the amatat heart, deathless element, liberated mind established in the deathless, no more death, unshakable peace. So I really love this list because it's simple. Think of all of the various things that you study. Lord Buddha's 84,000 Dhamma verses, the Abhidhamma, Pali, all of the things you can study. There is a lot. But here Lord Buddha is saying 5 qualities alone, just 5 things. When cultivated, made much of, lead to the deathless, merge in the deathless. So the first one is faith, sattha. What do we need to have faith in? So we need to have faith in nibbana. We need to have faith that nibbana exists. How do we know that? Well, Lord Buddha realized it. Lord Buddha explained the path and practice, the teachings, the Dhamma and Vinaya that lead to the realization of nibbana. So then we need to have faith in that path. the path of practicing Dhamma. Dhamma is not just the teachings, Dhamma is the practice. We practice Dhamma, and we have to apply our teaching to our minds, to our lives. We have to bring the Dhamma inwards. My teacher Ajahn Anan explains the Dhammacakka, the Dhamma wheel, the Eightfold Path, as being something that is turning in the mind, in the heart. It's not a picture of a Dhamma wheel. It's not a list of 8 qualities. That's like a map, a description, a symbol. The real Dhamma wheel is when the path factors are turning in your own mind, when you have right view, when you have right thought, when you have right action, right mindfulness, right concentration, etc. That is destroying greed, hatred, and delusion in your heart, in your mind, if you practice correctly. At the same time, my teacher also says that if you don't practice, or you don't practice consistently, at the time when the Dhamma wheel is not turning in the heart, in the mind, then it's the kilesas which are destroying the path. So when we have the Eightfold Path turning in the heart, that's destroying the kilesas and reducing ignorance, which the kilesas are based upon. But if we're heedless, or if we're not consistent, then the kilesas come in again and they actually destroy the path. So there's a bit of a holy war going on in our own hearts and minds. So we have to have faith in Dhamma, practice the teachings and the practice, the Dhamma and the Vinaya. Then the other important thing is to have faith in Sangha, that many, many, many other great beings have realized the same liberation as Lord Buddha. This has very serious implications. When we have faith in Sangha, that is also a way of understanding you too can do this, I too can do this. It's not just these wonderful beings that come along every few 100,000 eons that can do this. Anybody who practices Dhamma accordingly, appropriately, in accordance with Lord Buddha's teachings, will realize the very same liberation that Lord Buddha realized. So this is another important aspect of faith. You have to have faith in your ability. So this is important. Doubt is a hindrance, one of the 5 hindrances to the arising of samadhi. If you come and you sit meditation and you're secretly thinking, I can't do this, I don't have enough parami, then it's difficult to progress. Faith is also translated as confidence. So you have confidence in Lord Buddha, you have confidence in his teachings, and you must have confidence in your ability. When you read the biographies of some of the great monks, Luang Por Chah, for example, Luang Por Chah had many doubts. Luang Por Chah also had a lot of lust, sexual craving. Even it was his last lifetime. When he was a young monk, he still had these very coarse, ordinary kilesas. But what Luang Por Chah had was great faith in the Buddha, great faith in the Dhamma. And because of that, he had great energy. That's the next of the 5 spiritual powers. Now, I believe that Lord Buddha put these list of 5 powers in this order for a good reason. It's the faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, in the methods, in your ability, all of these things. A true and deep faith in this, which is established in our hearts, gives rise to energy. So when we have a good quality of powerful faith and confidence, then we have good energy. That energy then needs to be applied. How do we apply the energy? The next of the 5 spiritual powers is mindfulness, Sati. So we apply our effort at establishing mindfulness and consistently maintaining that mindfulness. And then what happens is actually the arising of more energy. So when you're thinking of the 5 spiritual powers, we're talking about power. It's not a list. is something truly powerful, something which, when made much of, can establish a mind in the other shore, in liberation, in nibanna. So we apply ourselves at meditation several times a day. We apply ourselves at maintaining mindfulness in all postures. Even more good, clean energy arises. Very powerful. This is what makes it possible to start experiencing samadhi, the next of the 5 spiritual powers. When I like to translate samma samadhi as right collectedness, the mind collects, gathers inward. When you have mindfulness and collectedness, the hindrances are suppressed. Mindfulness is also sometimes translated as truth discerning awareness. It's a quality that the function of mindfulness and the quality of mindfulness is that it knows things according to their characteristics. The right mindfulness leads on to wisdom, which is the 5th of the spiritual powers. What is wisdom? Is wisdom the 84,000 Dhamma verses? Yes, there's a lot of wisdom in there. But I want to talk today about making it simple, keeping it simple. Because if we keep it simple, there's less to worry about. There's less to doubt about. Restlessness and worry is a hindrance. Doubt is a hindrance. I like to encourage people to have confidence. And so wisdom is basically seeing things in accordance with the 3 characteristics. You can see something as impermanent, arising, staying for some time and ceasing. That is wisdom. Actually, if you know dukkha as dukkha, even if you have a lot of suffering, as long as you are seeing dukkha as dukkha, this is dukkha characteristic, the first noble truth, this is wisdom. Anatta. With anatta, not self, we usually have to do some investigation. And in the forest tradition, doing a lot of body contemplation. You simply use the mindfulness that you have to have a look into the body and its components, its parts, and you ask yourself, where is this self? So we have to start with the understanding that we think the body is a self. We have to start with that truthfully and honestly. Okay, there is delusion present. I do think this is my body. That's the starting place. So, sincerely investigate. Where is it? And you close your eyes, you do it as a contemplation, you look at the hair on top of your head. Is there a self there? Kilesas. Hair on the body, loma. Is there a self there? Just do an honest investigation. Nakha, nails. Is there a self there? Where is this self? Danta, teeth. Is the self in the teeth? Tacho, skin. Is it in the skin? When you do this sincerely, you can see, actually there is no self there. The mind is deludedly grasping at all of these things coming together as a self. But when we investigate them as parts, you can't find the self in any of it. You can take your investigation further. In the area of the heart, where all of these emotions are, all the things you like, all the things you love, all the things you don't like, the things that make you happy, the things that make you feel irritated, angry. We look in there, is there a self there? When you're looking at the body, we see, no, there's a muscle which is pumping blood. And there's no self there. If we do this consistently, then what can occur in meditation is that feeling of a sense of self falls away from the mind for a period of time. You can have what some people call tatanga vimutti, temporary liberation. Luang Por Chah put a great emphasis upon letting go. In Thai, the phrase is bloy wang. bloy haiman wang, letting things go and experiencing the empty nature of mindful awareness, empty meaning empty of self. So, having faith in the Buddha, faith in the Dhamma, faith in the methods, faith in your ability, we have to make a commitment. And we commit to practicing Dhamma. This gives rise to good energy. I was mentioning before as well, one of the most important things is consistency, because if you practice for a period of time and then you stop, when you start again, it's as though you have to start again. Because what happens is the Dhamma wheel is destroying greed, hatred and delusion, but then if we're lazy, heedless, distracted, the greed, hatred and delusion grows back in the mind. So very important to be consistent and to have faith that with a minimum of effort every single day without giving up, without going backwards, then the power of the mindfulness develops as a spiritual power. So as I was saying in the very beginning of this talk, when I was first a khao and a samanera at Wat Pah Nanachat, 6 days a week I wanted to disrobe. 1 day a week I felt content. Lord Buddha explained that peacefulness is the highest happiness. Kwam sangop pen kwam suk praneetที่สุด. And when you experience some genuine peacefulness of mind and you experience coolness, fullness, wellness, contentment, then you recognize this is something very precious, very valuable, something worth cultivating. And I was able to use my reflective mind. We all have to practice yoniso manasikara, wisely reflecting. If I went back to my lay life in Sydney, the conditions that gave rise to that peacefulness would not be there. I would not have the kalyana mitta, the wise spiritual friends. I would not have the vinya and the core wat. I would not have as much daily discipline. So path factors would degenerate. The peacefulness would degenerate. After 3 or 4 years, it's only 4 days a week that I want to disrobe. After about 7 years, I didn't want to disrobe anymore. But that's 7 years of consistent practice. And what happens is the strength of the mindfulness and the power of the samadhi becomes more established and becomes more consistent. So you have powerful spiritual powers. Another thing I wanted to talk about was what Lord Buddha mentions also in one of those 7 weeks after the enlightenment. Again, Lord Buddha came out of his 1 week experience of liberation, and again he was feeling in awe of nibanna, immaculate, unshakable peace, liberation of mind. And again he wondered, how is it possible that I realize this amazing and wonderful? And another very, very short teaching, but very, very profound. These 4 foundations of mindfulness, when cultivated, made much of, lead to the deathless and merge in the deathless. Now, when we look at the sutta, so in terms of a simple teaching, we don't need much more, do we? Here is Lord Buddha reviewing his realization of nibbana, and he has had the direct insight and the clear understanding. The 4 foundations of mindfulness is what led to this realization. Mindfulness, at first we have weak mindfulness, fuzzy mindfulness, inconsistent mindfulness, but if we develop mindfulness has the function to recognize things according to their characteristic, aniccaṃ, dukkhaṃ, anatta. That's what good mindfulness sees. So if we go to another of my favorite paragraphs in one of my favorite suttas is the Ānāpānasati Sutta that Lord Buddha taught in Savatthi. After the introduction, at the very beginning of the teaching, Lord Buddha says, through practicing Ānāpānasati, the 4 foundations of mindfulness are brought to fulfillment. in bringing the 4 foundations of mindfulness to fulfillment, the 7 factors of enlightenment are also brought into fulfillment. In bringing the 7 factors of enlightenment to fulfillment, the mind is liberated. Again, one sentence, one paragraph. And what is the paragraph saying in brief? Breath meditation cultivates the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Cultivating the 4 foundations of mindfulness fulfills the 7 factors of enlightenment. When the 7 factors of enlightenment are fulfilled, the mind is liberated. So we have again and again, from the Buddha's own words, he's explaining to us how powerful a practice Ānāpānasati is. Ānāpānasati has also been referred to by Lord Buddha as the crown jewel in the crown of all meditation objects. Coming back to the faith, spiritual power, a mistake that I think we make sometimes is that we don't quite recognize how powerful the meditation object is, and we don't quite have enough faith in it to truly commit to it. So it's very good to look at what Lord Buddha says about breath meditation. Breath meditation, this one practice, can fulfill the 4 foundations of mindfulness. We can become mindful of those 4 foundations simply through breath meditation. Of course, it is recommended to practice meditation in all postures, develop mindfulness in all postures. But here Lord Buddha is giving us a huge pointer as to a practice that will be enormously helpful in helping us to generate insight, purify, and liberate the mind. Let's think a little bit about how that is possible. When you come and you sit down and you begin to look at your breathing, your body is there. When you are aware of an in-breath and aware of an out-breath, you are mindful of feelings associated with having a body. So you have your kaya gatanusati. You know you're sitting, you know you're breathing, you're mindful of your body in the sitting posture. What happens? You come to meditate, you notice there's thinking. You just want to be with the breath, but there's all this thinking. Then you become mindful of mind objects. You don't give the attention to the mind object, you give the attention to knowing the feelings of the breathing, but at the same time you notice a thought arises, stays for some time, ceases. You are mindful of mind objects. Then as mindfulness gets better, there should be some recognition of whether something is a wholesome quality or an unwholesome quality. You're aware of the various hindrances. Which one of the 5 hindrances is affecting the mind? Is there restlessness? Is there sensual craving? Is there irritation? Is there aversion? So just in trying to be mindful of the breathing, you become aware of the hindrance. You become aware if it's wholesome or unwholesome. Mindfulness of dhammas. So this practice, Tan Ajahn Anan has described the fastest way to develop deep insight is through using the body as the foundation. Because trying to contemplate nama dhammas is too subtle. What he says is if you can make your breath meditation, your walking meditation, and your body contemplation your main practice, what you will find is that you can maintain a consistent mindfulness all throughout the day. And it's when that mindfulness itself gets more powerful, it becomes mindful of the more subtle dhammas, because that's the function of mindfulness. It knows things according to their nature, but we need to have a strong and consistent quality of mindfulness. So my teacher recommends making awareness of body postures, breath meditation, contemplation of the body as the main practice that leads to insight. So we have the 5 spiritual powers. We have 4 foundations of mindfulness. We have our meditation practice on a foundation of dana and sila. Then the most important thing is the consistency. Simply not giving up. So I'm grateful in my own experience that I had a lot of faith. Because if I didn't have a lot of faith, if I want to disrobe 6 days in a week, I wouldn't have stayed. So I had faith. I also had compassion. I had compassion that I know that this being, if I didn't keep my strict precepts and meditate more, that I would have a lot more suffering. It's something that I was mindful of, suffering, the first noble truth. I knew that if I went back to my lay life, there would be more suffering eventually. Yes, I could sleep in a comfortable bed. Yes, I could have lunch. Yes, I could have dinner. Yes, I could have a hot shower. But I would not be doing anything that would liberate myself from samsara. Ajahn Chah explains that the suffering that we experience in the life of a monk or in the life of a practitioner, the suffering of monks and nuns is the suffering that leads to the end of suffering. So it has a function, it has an end. But the suffering of lay people, oftentimes, is just suffering with no end. Unless, of course, lay people practice diligently. Many lay people have many more duties, so it's harder. Tan Ajahn Anan, who is a nephew of Luang Por Chah, he once said that the Buddha Sasana, in actual reality, is those beings who have mindfulness and wisdom. The Buddha Sasana is the people in the world who have Sati Panya. He said it's not necessarily people with robes. Some people with robes have Sati Panya. Some people with robes don't have Sati Panya. Some lay people, strict with their precepts, strict with their practice, morning, afternoon, evening, every day, they are an important part of the sasana because they're keeping these qualities of mindfulness and wisdom alive in the world. That's the true Buddha Sasana, is Sati Panya, mindfulness and wisdom. So I've been talking for about 40 minutes, covered the basics that I wanted to cover. I want to know if anybody has any questions about anything I've said. มีไหมใครมีที่ถามไหม ครับ Yes. Right. Since a young age, I have a feeling something's wrong. Something wrong in the world. I can't describe it. My family was not Christian. My family was not Buddhist. I didn't go to church. So we didn't have a religion. And even since I'm a little boy, I have a feeling something's wrong. Something's not right. Something's wrong. And so I'm looking for something. And so my parents, my mum wanted me to be a doctor. My father wanted me to be a lawyer. And I couldn't commit to it. I used to argue with my parents. What are you going to do with your life? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I mean, I don't know. And sometimes I was quite mean to them. No? My parents, I would argue with them. You should be a doctor, you should be a lawyer. Say, you're very good at arguing. You should be a lawyer. Well, I don't want to spend my life arguing. So I said to my parents, you know what, Mum and Dad? I tell you what I'm worried about. If I follow your advice, I'm going to end up just like you. And you're not happy. I don't want to be like you. I want to be happy. ใจร้ายไหม Then they stop speaking. So I don't know what I'm going to do. But I think some good karma. I'm interested in meditation. From the age of 15, I started to do what they call white light meditation, like a samatha practice. Just imagine white light and cleaning the body and mind with white light. Lying on my bed, 15-year-old, do white light meditation. So I think because nobody in my family is doing this, but I want to do this, there has to be some condition in previous life that. Then, because I like meditation, when I left school and I moved to Sydney, at that time I was studying acting and singing. I wanted to be a movie star. My mum asked me, why you want to be a movie star? I said, because I want to do as little work as possible and get as much money as possible. And then with my money, I want to help. But I don't want to work from 9 to 5 every day, never feel like I have enough money. I don't want that, for sure. But because I'm working in cafes, working in restaurants, studying acting, studying singing, because I like meditation, some of my friends told me there is a Vipassana meditation center, 10-day retreat for Goenkaji. So at 21, I went to do 10-day retreat in Blue Mountains in Australia. So my understanding that time, meditation is lying on your bed, imagining white light, smiling. Okay, I'm going to go and meditate for 10 days. So I come to the Goenka Meditation Center, sitting on the floor 12 hours a day. And Farang Westerners, we don't sit on the floor. So knee is up here, and just to sit straight is hurt. 10 hours, 12 hours. So I want to run away. This is not what I thought. Goenkaji. How many people ever did Vipassana retreat? Some people? Anybody? So Mr. Goenka, he keeps saying, start again. Start again. So I keep trying to start again. Ao mai, dang chai mai. And then he keeps saying, with a calm and quiet mind, alert and attentive mind. And I'm like, my mind is not calm, my mind is not quiet. But this instruction is very important. Start again, start again. Present moment, paccuppanna dhamma. Present moment, present moment, present moment. Day 8. Day 8. So much pain. Some peaceful feeling. All of the feeling of pain falls away. Mind feels full, content, peaceful, happy, maybe 5 seconds. And then, all the pain come back. So that was probably Khanika Samadhi, my first experience of Khanika Samadhi. It takes 8 days of 12 hours a day to get one experience of Khanika Samadhi. Because the body is not used to sitting on the floor. Very hard. But this changed my life. There's something in me is looking for something. When I have that experience, it's like, that's it. That's what I'm looking for. It's not outside, it's inside. Then, fortunately, Goenkaji was giving Dhamma talks, and he was talking about the Four Noble Truths. So when Mr. Goenka says unsatisfactoriness, dukkha, suffering, is the characteristic of experience, for me I feel like, Sati. I already know that. I know it's suffering. I used to worry about myself. I think maybe I have mental illness. น่าจะมีสงสัยตัวเองมีโรคจิตเพราะว่า somebody have a beautiful girlfriend, he's happy. Somebody have a job, they're happy. I know, even I have a beautiful girlfriend, even I have a great job, I won't be happy. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I know that's not enough for me. Nice food, good sex, nice clothes, good job, I'm still miserable. Actually now, so when Goenka said that, I thought, oh, I'm not crazy. It's true. Dukkha is the characteristic. But why, this is, now when I look back at that, I think it's panya barami. If you have panya barami, you are going to see dukkha characteristic more quickly than other people. Other people don't want to see it, they want to be in denial. I want to get as much, I want to squeeze as much pleasure and happiness out of this body as I can. But for me, even from a young age, I'm like, no, it's not going to work. There's not going to be any lasting happiness there. So I'm already searching for something more dependable. So since that first retreat, Goenkaji said, if you want results from meditation, it's like anything. You have to train. A marathon runner has to run. Athlete has to train. A performer has to rehearse. If you want results from meditation. So he said 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, every day. So since that day, I meditated every day. Because I was looking for peacefulness. And sometimes I get confused. I meet Thai people, often, who have great faith. They want to come to the monastery, they want to make offerings, they want to talk to the monk. People who are 50, 60, 70, and I ask them, do you have a daily meditation practice? Mai ka. Why not? And they ask me, a young man come, why you became a monk? I like, why you don't become a monk? They're confused why I become a monk. I'm confused why you don't become a monk. You have faith in Buddha, you want to make merit with monks, but you don't want to be one. Scratch my head. So what happens? First month, meditating 1 hour a day, 1 hour in the evening. After 1 month, 45 minutes, 45 minutes. After 3 months, just 45 minutes left. After 6 months, half an hour. Then, but I'm still wondering, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do with my life? So actually I made a satcha adhitthān. And this I think has to come from past practice. มันก็ต้องมีนิสัยเดิมบ้าง I was cleaning dishes at the vegetarian restaurant. And I'm feeling a lot ofความเบื่อหน่าย a lot of weariness. And I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. So I come out of the restaurant and I look to the sky and I satcha adhitthān. I say, okay, I admit I don't know the true path to happiness. Yom rap. Then if you send me a sign, so that time I don't believe in God, I don't believe in hell, but I believe in Deva. I don't know why. Now I don't have any doubt about hell. I also believe hell. So anyway, I say, I made a promise, but very, very sincere. I really meant it. If you send me a sign, I promise I will follow. So some interesting things starts to happen. One woman forgot her book, Lonely Planet Guide to Thailand. She forgot it in the restaurant. I pick it up, I'm looking, thinking, yeah, maybe I should travel. A lot of Australians, when they're young, they travel overseas, backpacker for a year or two. Maybe I should do that. I pick it up, I open the introduction. Thailand is 95% Buddhist country. Like, oh, I'm doing Buddhist meditation. I'm interested in Buddhism. Maybe I should go to Thailand. The next day she come back, I want my book. Okay, I give back her book. Another week, it's time to get the payday, money, ngan den. In that day, 26 years ago, we used to get cash. So I open up my wallet and I'm getting my pay. There's one coin in my wallet I never saw before. I don't know what it is. It has Chedis and Rama the Ninth King. I asked my friend, what's this money? No English words. He said, that's Thai baht. 1 baht. Then my feeling, second sign. First sign is a book. Second sign is a coin. Then another thing very strange. In that restaurant, I have to clean the fryer once a week with the oil, deep fryer. The restaurant is Japanese food, vegan, vegetarian. The fryer is a Dorf brand from Germany. But there is one attachment that I have to put on, a bit of galvanized iron. I have to put this onto this fryer once a week. มันเป็นข้อต่อข้อง่อยอะไรอย่างงี้ So I put it on the fryer and I noticed one night, 10 o'clock at night, there is one word on this piece of galvanized metal. It says, Thailand. Unbelievable, this is Sydney. Why we have to have a koto from Thailand? But I'm going to keep my promise. I made, okay, I see 3 signs. I promise I will go to Thailand after 10 weeks. I made a promise. So time passes, 1 month, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. I have passport, I have visa, I have ticket, I have no money. Just enough money for the ticket, the passport, and what am I going to do? I have to sell everything. A promise is a promise. I sold my mountain bike, I sold my Turkish carpet, I sold my computer, everything I can sell. My bed, $1,000 I had. 26 years ago is a bit. And then I did. I went to Thailand 10 weeks. 1 week before I left, one lady came to the restaurant. She's a Canadian backpacker. She says, is there a job here? I said, well, I'm leaving, so maybe you give me your name. She said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Thailand. She said, I just came from Thailand yesterday. Really? She said, why are you going to Thailand? I say, I'm going to Thailand because I want to go to the beach and I'm interested in Buddhism. She said, well, I know where there is a meditation center on a tropical island with the view of the sea where the teachers teach in English. It's also a bit like a miracle, you know. In those days, we don't have internet. I cannot search where to do retreat in English in Thailand. Cannot. So my feeling that Tevada Jatsan, the Deva bring her to me. So I say, you please write the address. So that monastery was called Wat Khao. It's on Koh Phangan Island. And there is one woman, she's Australian, and her husband is American, and they are teaching 10-day retreats to backpackers. And they have a situation where if you help them, they let you stay. 1 month you do the retreat, the next month you help them cleaning, welcoming people. So I stay 5 months on that island. And I did 4 retreats, 10-day retreats. Then my money ran out. I also studied massage in Chiang Mai. ก็ได้ไปฝึกนวดแผนโบราณที่เชียงใหม่ครับ And when I went to Malaysia, I went to Mahasi Sayadaw style meditation retreat, also did 30-day retreat in Malaysia. So I did many retreats. When I went back to Australia, because one thing I didn't tell you, when I'm a little boy, I feel like I was born in the wrong place. I feel like this isn't my home. And when I'm eating dinner with my parents and my sisters, brothers, I'm like, it's not my family. But I don't know. สิ่งที่เรารู้คือไม่ใช่แต่เราไม่รู้ว่าที่ไหนใช่ So when I'm on Koh Phangan, after about 1 month, I feel like, hey, this feels like home. I don't understand any Thai, ฟังไม่รู้เรื่อง but I feel at home. So when I went back to Australia, in the morning when I wake up, already crying, คิดถึงบ้าน already crying, but that's how much I want to come back. So I came back. Second time I came back, there's also some good karma. One friend wanted to rent my apartment, or another friend say, you changed since you did meditation. I want to do this meditation you did, but I don't want to wait for you to save the money, so I pay for your ticket. My friend say, I need apartment in the city, in Sydney, I will pay your rent. So somebody give me ticket, somebody pay my rent. I have to work a few months, get some money, come back. That time I met somebody, then I'm thinking, what am I going to do with my life, you know? I like meditation. So somebody tells me at that meditation center, I met one man, German man, who had been to Wat Pah Nanachat in Ubon. So he told me, there is one monastery teaching in English for foreigners. That time I don't want to be a monk. I'm 22. I think it's going to be too hard. It's going to be too hard. But I feel I have to look, I have to try. So when I go to Wat Pah Nanachat, one thing I notice, I stayed for 7 weeks that time and became a khao, sin bad. I noticed many things. Somebody comes for 1 month, he wants to be a monk, but he cannot. Mom or dad is sick, he has to take care of mom or dad. Another person coming 2 weeks wants to be a monk but cannot, he's paying for his brother to finish university. Somebody comes from overseas, wants to become a monk, cannot, mother and father don't give permission. I see many people who want to be a monk who have obstruction. Then I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't have debt, I don't have parent. When I go to visit my mom, she says to me, I used to worry about you, that's why I used to give you a hard time. I don't know what someone like you will do with their life. But you look to me like you found something. Good for you. She says, if you want to be a monk, you have my blessing. I didn't even ask for my mom's permission. She already gave it. So I'm in the monastery and I'm thinking, like I said, 6th day I want to leave, but 1 day very peaceful. Then I thought, I have to try. I have to try. So I committed a 6 months khao, 1 month. Then that's the good thing about that system is that you can try. I'll sin bad gone, 8 precepts first, and then 10 precepts. And then, actually they have one system, after, if you become a bhikkhu, you're supposed to say you commit for 5 years at Wat Nanachat. But nobody ever asked me. I cannot commit 5 years, but they don't ask. I commit 1 year. After Pansa, during Pansa, yaksik,ไม่ไหว. But after Pansa, okay, just 1 more Pansa. Then after second Pansa, okay, 1 more Pansa. After 3 Pansa, okay, 2 Pansa. After 5 Pansa, 5 more Pansa. After 10 Pansa, 10 more Pansa. After 20 Pansa, okay, จึงตายเลยว่างว่านะครับครับ ก็ต้องค่อยพัฒนา But if you ask me, that I think I was monk in previous life. That's why I'm looking for Dhamma, looking for peacefulness. And then I think that is also why there is merit. Like, some people ask for help from Deva, no help. Why, when I ask for help, help is coming? So this is punya, no? This is merit. Why the Canadian woman come and she tells me the exact place I need to go. When I'm there, another guy come, he tell me the next place I need to go. One time, I'm running out of money. I got a letter from Australia, one guy, my old customer, used to serve him his vegetarian food. He writes in a letter, I feel some karmic connection to you. I feel like I want to help you. You need anything, you let me know. I wrote to him, just run out of money. He put $1,000 in my bank. So I can see punya, have some merit there, supporting, can come back. That time, my friend offered the ticket, my other friend paid the rent, this kind of thing. So, must be, yeah, I think so. ก็ต้องมีบ้าง Everybody ต้องมีบ้างทุกคนครับ บุญหลายครับ How come? Motivate. How to motivate? Yeah. So the Venerable wants more concentration. He asked how to get motivation. One thing I did, every year normally I go to Bodh Gaya and I practice meditation in Bodh Gaya. A little bit difficult because noisy, dirty, insects, birds, cold, hot. But the reason I go to Bodh Gaya, even I have a lot of faith, average day meditate 4 or 5 hours. I want to meditate more. If you want a really good results, you have to meditate a lot. So I make myself go to a place where I have more faith. So if I go to Bodh Gaya, I meditate 10 hours a day. 2.5 hours before breakfast, 2.5 hours after breakfast, lunch, rest, 2.5 hours, cup of coffee, toilet, 2.5 hours. 4 sessions, 2.5 hours. For 6 weeks. But I have to put myself in the place where I'm not an abbot, and I'm not the teacher, I don't have many duties, I have free time. And when you have doubt, you open your eye, the Buddha was enlightened here. His help to lift the faith. When you're suffering, pain or some sickness, don't want to do, you remember the Buddha practiced 6 years of austerities in the cave, eating half a palm of rice, and he didn't give up. Fight, su. So I do that. I make myself go to Bodh Gaya. Then I do more practice. 10 hours a day, every day, 6 weeks, about 400 hours, twice a year, the last few years. When I got to 1,000 hours, I made an adhiṭṭhān, I will meditate 3,000 hours at the Bodhi tree. เป็น Buddha Puja, Dhamma Puja, Sangha Puja, ถวายองค์ละพัน. So sometimes we have to do something that lifts the faith, go somewhere where you're inspired, and then you have to make some kind of adhiṭṭhān, such a adhiṭṭhān. Because for myself, when I make a such a adhiṭṭhān in Bodh Gaya, I know I have to keep it. I made a promise to Buddha, I have to keep that one. So I remember I got to 2,000 hours and I'm like, oh, ไม่ไหวแล้วนี่สงสัย 2,000 พอแล้วละมั้ง Getting older, 2,000 hours is enough. But I have to go back 3 more times to finish. Now it's 3,630. After I finish, I came back after 1 year. Hey, I want to do more. I love it. So for me, I did that. You have to go somewhere. Maybe it's an Ajahn that you have faith in, and you have to go and stay with that Ajahn. You have to do something to lift the faith. Sometimes we can't do just by ourselves. Maybe some teacher you have faith in, some method you have faith in, some place you really like, then you have to go somewhere. But then I think there's such a adhiṭṭhān is important. Make some kind of a commitment that you, minimum commitment. And I think in general, increasing effort a little bit constantly is best. So to do a retreat is great, but if you come out of the retreat and you don't care of your practice, it's like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. And actually, if you go forward a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. So if you meditate 1 hour a day now, you have to increase for 1.5. After 6 months, you have to increase to 2 hours. After 6 months, you have to increase to 3 hours. You do it little by little, but constantly. After 5 years, 4 hours a day, you're going to have better samadhi. I have faith in that. But the thing is, if we make a adhitan, we have to keep it. And we have to be consistent. But I think we all can do it. Little bit, little bit, little bit. When I first went to Bodh Gaya, I could not sit 10 hours a day. I sit 6 hours a day. So I used to do the circumambulation 9 times. Then I increase 7, 8, 9, 10 over some years. So, yeah, so I'm going to give an interesting answer. So I think one quality that I had was a capacity to pay attention. So when my parents were saying, you should be a lawyer, you should be a doctor, by that stage I had met a few lawyers and a few doctors. But I never met, I was like looking for somebody who was genuinely happy. And I could tell that they weren't. So what is that? Some capacity to pay attention and notice. So it's like, I knew lots of people with university degrees, but none of them seemed to be experiencing contentment. So there's something in me, I'm not going to commit deeply to something if it's going to make me miserable. I just couldn't. So in a way, I think I'd say I was wealthy with suffering. So I knew I'm already miserable. And if I do this, I will be more miserable. So I think awareness of suffering with compassion, I actually want to be a content and happy person. I'm not going to consciously do something that will make myself more miserable. And then I think it's the same thing, like why do I make those commitments? I make those commitments because I'm still not completely free of suffering. I still need to develop the 5 spiritual powers to be fully liberated. So I know that if I don't practice hard, I'm still suffering. So I'm the one that has to practice hard to go beyond suffering. No one else can do it for me. But I think it's a result of past practice in previous lives that there is that sensitivity to dukkha, because most people are just in denial about it, not wanting to pay attention to it. For myself, I couldn't not notice it. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, last question. This one ได้ครับนี่พระก่อนแล้วก็โยมต่อครับว่ายังไง So I didn't meet Luang Por Chah, but I met his senior disciples. So the monk who Luang Por Chah chose to be his abbot is Luang Por Liam, and the first monk who I met at Wat Nanachat, Ajahn Chah and Ajahn Pasano, and then my first teacher, my Thai teacher, Tan Ajahn Anan. So they were all close to Luang Por Chah. So I know from conversations with them, they had no doubt that he was an arahant. I also believe that I know some enlightened beings. So if you're in the presence of an arahant, you can feel coolness. And if an Aryan spreads metta to you, you can feel very powerful metta. So Luang Por Chah had a lot of barami. Also, he led the practice. So when he said the monks have to be at the morning chanting, he was at the morning chanting. When he said the monks have to go on bindabat, he was on bindabat. Then sometimes he would talk all night, making them work with their pain. But he's talking all night. So he's leading them in the practice. So the insight that they develop from his training, they develop a lot of gratitude. For myself, I also have great faith in Luang Por Chah because I could see, keeping the Vinaya strictly, living within his core wat, my mind became more and more peaceful, more and more radiant, more and more happy. It takes some years, but I can see it works. And then other stories from the monks about occasions that he taught them personally, helped them to overcome their doubts. So also when I was one Pansa monk at Wat Nanachat, Ajahn Jayasara was writing Ajahn Chah's biography. So Ajahn Jayasara would read the chapter from Ajahn Chah's life. Very inspiring. That Luang Por Chah walked to Bangkok to try to meet Luang Por Man. Walked from Ubon. When he got to Bangkok, Luang Por Man had gone back to Ubon. So Luang Por Chah walked back to Ubon. He wants to be very strict with Vinaya, so he's carrying a copy of Bubasika. It's a very big book. So he's walking and he's carrying this big book because he wants to keep all the rules. So he used the book as his pillow. Where you see that kind of sincerity of Ajahn Chah. And in the first years at Wat Pah, there wasn't enough food and the monks got malaria. But they stay there and they keep practicing. They practice with hunger. They practice with malaria. He was willing to die to realize Dhamma. So you hear these stories, I say, oh, Luang Por Chah was very, very sincere, very, very powerful and committed, wouldn't give up. His fear of ghosts. So he'd go and practice in the charnel ground. He knows he's scared. He doesn't run away from his fear. He goes, sits all night. He urinates blood. He's so scared and a lot of pressure. And he urinates blood, but he has this experience of like the body exploding, seeing the elements, experiencing pure mind. So from the stories that he told his students how he practiced with great courage and the incredible results that he got. So most of the people who live with Luang Por Chah have no doubt that he was an arahant. Although he wouldn't tell people that he could read minds, for people that live with him it was very obvious. So what happens is you come to the Patimokkha recitation, 50 monks, 100 monks, someone have this doubt, someone have that doubt, someone have this doubt. In the Dharma talk, Ajahn Chah already answered their questions. They don't have to ask the question. If they're practicing sincerely, they have a doubt, during the talk, he already knows what they're doubting. He already answered for them. So many, many people have this experience. With the Westerners who couldn't speak Thai very well, they can feel his metta. He is very kind to them. But of course Ajahn Sumedho spoke Thai very well and Ajahn Sumedho translated for the other monks. So, last one. Thank you. Yeah, good question. Question is, if there's no self, why strive hard for nibanna? The Buddha's teaching is neither nihilism or eternalism. What does it mean? When a person realizes nibbana, greed, hatred and delusion cease. Lord Buddha described his experience as deathless. So something is experiencing cessation. Cessation of what? Cessation of suffering. Cessation of greed, hatred, and delusion. What remains is purified mind. So the person who is asking the question, they're already coming from the belief in self. Self is a delusion. It's not the truth. So they're asking the question from a deluded place. They can't possibly understand the answer. In the process of meditation, when you have vipassana insights, you will experience the body and the mind without a self-view present. Aware of the body, aware of sounds, sights, no feeling of self. But the body is still there. Awareness is still there. Feeling of self comes back. The insight understands Sakkaya Ditthi as a Ditthi. It's one way of seeing things, which is not deeper truth, not ultimate truth. It's conventional reality, then samut, but there is ultimate reality, vimutti. So when you meditate and you experience the body and mind without a self-view, and you experience more happiness, more peace, then you don't doubt these things. The self is something that you can let go of, and the mind can experience deeper and deeper peace. But I guess it comes down to faith. If people don't have faith in nibanna, if they don't have faith in the potential of the mind, then it's not yet time to try to teach them. But Lord Buddha does say, he does describe nibanna as unshakable peace and as deathless. So something, the purified mind experiences liberation. Self-view falls away. The purified mind experiences cessation of suffering. I guess it's a matter of faith. Either you have faith in that or not. I have great faith in that. So.
First of all, may I, on behalf of our Dharma friends, students, brothers and sisters, to sincerely thanks to Most Venerable to come here to give Dharma talk to all of us. I do hope that we got the inspirations and motivations to practice continuously. And we are really thank you to Most Venerable for your time, sir. Thank you. Sir.